Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough. Today we're going to be doing another delve into the world of MST3K. The first time I delved into MST3K for this show was when I looked at issue 1 of the comic book adaptation for their Netflix series revival. But what if I told you there was an attempted revival before the Netflix revival series? Yeah, this show proper ended in 1999 as the internet became bigger and bigger in the early 2000s. The Misty fanbase continued on, wondering if there would be another sign of a new series coming up. And the closest thing we had at the time was riff tracks, which is of course great. But people wanted to see the world and the characters from the original MST3K show expanded upon, and they were given a shortly lived series of animated videos for a website. Announced in October of 2007 and released just a month later in November, we were given 4 videos codenamed The Bots Are Back. You want to know something? Apparently this is one of the most hated things amongst MST3K fans. Well, let's see how bad it is. I mean, I've looked at bad videos before. I've looked at Dusk's Dawn.
Must have been a cat or something.
SpongeBall Z. And that Club Penguin rap battle.
Man, you gotta be kidding me. I got the epic win.
Well, let's see how bad this gets. This is The Bots Are Back. The first of the 4 videos is called Real Livin'. It's about Crow fishing while Tom asks pretty reasonable questions like where the lake came from, because apparently these videos don't follow up on the original series finale where the crew are now living on Earth. This is probably the most boring of these videos because there really aren't that many jokes. Aside from Servo doing his thing and knocking Crow into the lake at the end, a lot of it just feels like a crappy infomercial with Crow trying to sell you on a kayak.
That's beginning to change as people realize the incredible value of these little skiffs and the accessibility they offer to low water situations. And as you can see, the amazing thing about these kayaks is how incredibly stable they are.
Now, from what I gather, out of all 4 of the videos, this is apparently the most hated of them all. Well, let's see what they're talking about. Let's look at the like to dislike ratio. Ooh, yeah, that is not good. The second video is Feels Like. The one joke you get out of this 1 minute and 40-second video is Gypsy and Tom talking. First, they talk about the temperature outside.
Current temperature is minus 265 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like minus 270 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, minus 265 always feels a lot colder than it is.
Then after that, you get one joke that is rammed into the ground, and that is Tom taking everything she says literally.
And just so you know, good to see you feels like it was great to see you to me.
Oh, Tom, you crack me up.
And crack me up feels to me like I highly amuse you. And that's enough feels like that's more than enough. And brother feels like, seriously, you should really quit it. It wasn't funny to me to begin with, and it certainly hasn't gotten any funnier as you've continued speaking.
Servo, please stop. I beg of you to please stop.
Tom, that's enough.
Oh my god, characters within the video are agreeing with me that this is annoying. You've probably noticed that Gypsy actually sounds the same as she did in the original show, whereas Crow and Servo sound like different people. My best guess is that Kevin Murphy and Bill Corbett were probably busy with riff tracks. Instead, they're played by Paul Chaplin, who was a writer and actor on the original series as Crow, and local comedian James Moore as Tom Servo. I don't really think they do a bad job. They're giving it their all, but it's just not the same. Hell, it's not even the same as the voices in the Netflix revival. Next video is the shortest, and it's actually Thanksgiving themed. It's called Thanksgiving Clown, with Servo and Crow going through a book of Thanksgiving traditions, since Tom apparently thinks clowns are one of them.
I'm sorry, Tom. I see nothing here about a clown and Thanksgiving.
Well, it is a pretty old world book we found. Keep looking. I know I saw it somewhere.
Okay. Cornucopia, sweet potato. The northeast consists of the Korat Plateau, bordered to the east by the Mekong. Oh wait, this is Thailand.
Of all these videos, I'd probably say this is the best one, mainly because it is the shortest and the jokes don't linger on too long. Which brings me to another point about this series. The setups for these videos are clearly trying to emulate the same style of comedy that we saw in the show with the in-between host segments. But the thing is, those were way funnier than anything in these videos. I respect what they were trying to do, but it's just not the same since these shorts are either too boring or just too empty. Speaking of empty, we got the last of these 4 videos, Solitaire. You want to know how vacant and empty this video is? Here's how it begins.
That looks like fun.
Dead air.
The following joke that's hammered into your skull is Tom telling Crow how to shuffle cards because Tom can't since his arms don't work. Yeah, but apparently those arms could work a jet ski in the first video. He does this for most of the video until Crow gets fed up and leaves.
You know, I forgot about this critical event. I need to do over here.
Also, Tom tries telepathy, but it fails. Ha. That was The Bots Are Back, and it really sucks. Not in a frustrating kind of way, more in a missed opportunity kind of way. Apparently, the reason these videos didn't continue was because they were too expensive. I know, there's a joke in there somewhere considering the animation is... well, just look at it. The designs are incredibly basic looking, but alright as still images. But when you see it in motion, it is extremely cheap looking. Nowhere near as cheap as the Nut Shack or the Slim Shady Show or the Spaceballs cartoon, but you could definitely tell this was a low-budget web animation series. I do appreciate they were trying to make a series out of the stuff you would see in the host segments, but the biggest flaw with these shorts is that they're incredibly forced, and the jokes aren't that funny to begin with, which means you're stuck watching videos that manage to feel long despite being about a minute and a half each. I wasn't kidding when I said the Thanksgiving Clown one was the best. It's the closest of these videos to replicating the show's host segments. Not entirely successful, mind you, but it's the least crap out of all of them, is what I'm trying to say. And while all the other ones are bad, Real Livin' was the first, and just not the right way to start this series. It's the longest of the videos, and barely anything happens in it. Before they canned this thing and deleted it from the website, Mike Nelson said it best, saying that the show seemed cute, but was a total afterthought. Let's just be glad these episodes weren't an hour and a half like the actual show, because then we probably could have rivaled Manos in terms of boredom if that were the case. You know what? As much as this series sucked, I could at least see why they would make it. I mean, you have a cult classic TV show like MST3K with a dedicated fan base, and now that people are using the internet more and more at that time, they would totally try to cash in on it with a web series. That said, it makes more sense to make this than a comic book based on a Twitch Fortnite streamer. But we're going to talk about that next time. Until then, I'm the Media Wiz, because one art form wasn't enough.
That looks like fun. Solitaire, I mean.
Do something! Gah!